Hello and welcome to the 12th episode of Fresh Off the Reel. My name is Lib.
My name is Spider-Man 3 Part 2, frame 5,973 out of 20,077. If you know, you know.
What is that?
You'll have to find out later.
All right, I'll find out while I'm editing. Today, we're going to be talking about a Christmas movie because by the time this comes out, it should be a couple days after Christmas. So, what better way to celebrate Christmas than by watching, at least for me, my favorite Christmas movie, which is Elf, a 2003 film directed by Jon Favreau. Jon
The, the,
Favreau did this.
the guy from Spider-Man and nothing else, right?
The guy behind Iron Man 1 and 2, the Lion King live action remake, which admittedly was only okay. Chef, a really good movie that also has Sofia Vergara in it. Didn't know very good and Sofia Vergara could be in the same sense at the same time. Funny joke. But for me, the big one is he directed The Mandalorian.
How dare you slander Sofia Vergara? You take that back.
She sounds. I'm going to take a quote from one of those Jimmy Kimmel reading mean tweets videos. Sofia Vergara sounds like she always has a dick in her mouth.
I don't disagree, but I'm currently watching Modern Family, and I will not tolerate this slander.
Okay, but Modern Family's fine. Okay, well, early seasons.
I'm actually not like super enjoying it, so I don't even know if I can say that much. I'm at that hate watch era with TV shows where I'm watching things out of spite, not because I want to.
Like what?
Like Modern Family.
Well, what
That's it.
else?
Oh, and Seinfeld.
Oh.
I'm watching it because everybody will shut up about them, and I don't want to watch them, but out of spite, I'm watching them.
Oh my god, that I need to watch Seinfeld. I've seen a couple episodes but never the whole show.
I watched like the first couple episodes of the first season. It's pretty alright. I don't know where like one of the best sitcoms ever shit comes from. But, like maybe it'll get better, but it's fun.
I don't know, it's pretty funny. I've seen it on TV. But you know what's also pretty funny? Elf. So let's talk about Elf.
Yes,
Did you hear that quotation question mark when I said Elf is pretty funny?
yeah, because we have differing opinions on the lead star, Will Ferrell.
So,
I
let's
love you went on this long tangent about Jon Favreau, who directed and then was in like 2 minutes of the movie, but you failed to mention Will Ferrell at all up until now.
No, it's okay. We'll get to Will Ferrell when we get to Will Ferrell. But first, we're going to read the plot synopsis like we always do. This one's coming off of Google. So here we go. This holiday, discover your inner elf. Yeah, that's the tagline. When young Buddy falls into Santa's gift sack on Christmas Eve, he's transported back to the North Pole and raised as a toy making elf by Santa's helpers. But as he grows into adulthood, he can't shake the nagging feeling that he doesn't belong. Buddy vows to visit Manhattan and meet his real dad, a workaholic publisher.
Is that the end? That's the end
Yeah,
of the
that's it.
description.
That's it.
It doesn't even mention Zoe Deschanel
It doesn't mention Zoe Deschanel.
by
It doesn't
by full
mention
name, not her character, the actress by full name.
it also doesn't mention at all what's his name? The kid.
It doesn't mention anything after the first 10 minutes of the movie. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, I guess
yeah.
that's an accurate description of the first 10 minutes of the movie.
Speaking
That's
of the kid, he's only in like one other movie. Dougal.
really.
What?
I feel like I've seen Daniel Trey before though, in other things.
Maybe TV, but I'm looking on Letterboxd. Unless you've
You
seen
know,
American Splendor, Dougal, or Beer League.
I have not seen any of those things. I don't know why he looks so familiar. That's weird. That's gonna bother me now.
Yeah, me too. It kind of looks familiar, but anyways, let's talk cinema. What did you rate
Uh,
it?
I gave this lovely movie that I definitely enjoyed. That I'm not saying this sarcastically. A 3 out of 5. I thought it was fine. I saw this as a kid. This
Haven't
wasn't
we
my first
all?
time. Yeah, everyone has. Literally everybody has. So it wasn't my first time watching it, but it was my first time in I want to say like at least 10, 15 years that I've seen it. A little known fact about me: I don't like Will Ferrell. I don't think he's funny in anything. Like, I'll give Anchorman a pass, but I don't think it's because he's funny. I think it's because Steve Carell is funny. Uh, yeah, I don't find him funny, and this movie does nothing to change that for me. I don't think the rest of the cast does particularly well either. Like Ed Asner is fun as Santa. I liked when he pulled out a knife and said, "Hi, I'm Ed Asner." Um, yeah, none of the cast are at least. Maybe I should lower my score now that I'm talking about it out loud. Like, I don't know. This movie does like nothing for me. It's a pretty like run of the mill Christmas story. It's a pretty run of the mill fish out of water story, which is a common trope in Christmas movies for whatever reason. I guess it kind of like I get it, but it's just weird. Didn't find it particularly funny. The songs are good. It has a good soundtrack. It's about like the one absolute positive I could say. It's got good music.
John Debney. He also did the soundtrack for Iron Man 2, The Kronk's New Groove, and Sin City, just to name a few.
Sin City's good. Sin City's also got good music.
Kronk's New Groove has really good music. I mean, not Kronk.
Yeah.
I meant Kronk. I meant the Emperor's New Groove. Don't know why I said he also did the Kronk's. He also did Kronk's New Groove, but besides the point, he also did the soundtrack for the Jimmy Neutron movie. That's another funny one just to mention. But I think the big one is he did the soundtrack for The Greatest Showman, which is one of
Good movie.
one of the best movies I've seen. I think, like it's
Yeah.
really really good, really good composer, really good soundtrack. Like I when I watched this, when I rewatched this again, this was maybe the first time in a few years that I've seen it. It's not like Monster House where I watch it every year. This is another one of those lip nostalgia movies, by the way.
Yeah, this is one of those Pat's an old man who hates having fun movies, like Monster House.
We promise we'll do a Pat nostalgia movie
We'll do
soon.
a Pat nostalgia movie, and Lib's gonna hate it.
We'll do Grease.
Out of out of spite, we'll do Grease, and Lib will hate it.
I really don't like
You won't.
Grease.
You won't even watch it. He's like, I hate this. I watched Grease 5 times this week, and Lib watched it 0. And the whole episode will be me singing the songs.
Oh my god. Don't even put me through that torture. Or else I'm gonna sing all the songs from what's that? What's that movie where the scientist turns all the kids into fish?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Is it called Fishtail? I feel like it is, but it's like tail with an eye. Fuck, I don't remember. It's an animated movie.
We mentioned Will Ferrell, and then we got distracted again.
Oh yeah, the I'm talking about Help Him
Yeah.
a Fish. I'm talking about that movie. It's weird. It's a very weird movie.
Or maybe we'll talk about it after we do my nostalgic movie, which will not be Grease, I promise.
Oh no, we're not doing Help Him a Fish.
It'll be the Breakfast Club, another movie Lib doesn't like.
Oh my god. Some people are gonna kill me for not liking though.
I'm just gonna recommend you 80s and 90s movies until you like one. That's the plan.
You better wait until the backlog segment. Stay tuned for that, guys, because I'm gonna force Pat to
Honestly,
watch something.
I'm gonna be a real upfront. I'm more excited to talk about the backlog segment than I have to talk about Elf.
Same.
But this is the Elf episode, so we must talk about Elf.
So yeah, Will Ferrell. I also don't think he's super funny. When I was a kid, I thought he was really funny. I love him in Megamind, and Anchorman and Step Brothers. But that's pretty much it. Everything else is kind of just there. Like Daddy's Home is not that good. That Bewitched remake was actual garbage. What else was he in? Wedding Crashers?
Well,
Was he in Wedding Crashers?
I can really
Every
forgot about.
comedian was in Wedding Crashers.
I completely forgot about Step Brothers. I like him in Step Brothers. I think that's a good one.
I think we're obliged to mention Step Brothers because we ripped off their their poster.
And he's not in Wedding Crashers.
He's not? Okay.
You're thinking about Vince Vaughn, who looks like a serious version of him.
Am I just thinking of Vince Vaughn?
Probably. Vince Vaughn and Will Ferrell look kind of similar,
I guess so.
but Vince Vaughn looks like a more serious version of him.
And he's also in. Like, I mean, we gotta say this because it's one of the like best like one of the best selling movies of all time, the Lego Movie. He's Lord Business in the Lego Movie, and he's also the kid's dad, right? Worst, I mean, I don't like Lord Business very much in Lego Movie either. It's just Will Ferrell kind of just waters down a lot of roles. When I was a kid, I thought he was like, yeah, Will Ferrell. Will Ferrell's in a movie. The movie's gonna be funny. But now I'm like,
Well,
oh, Will Ferrell's in a movie.
I think a lot of kids or like younger people like Will Ferrell because he plays just man children in everything he's in, right?
Especially in Elf.
Yeah, and I think like that's just what he likes to do. Like he's definitely like a typecasted actor, but he's just something he enjoys. And that's just his style, you know.
Nothing against Will
It,
Ferrell as a person.
yeah,
Like I've seen him in
yeah,
interviews. He seems like a pretty chill dude.
yeah. It's just not a ignore that sound. It's just not a style I like. And as I get older, it gets a little more difficult for me to stomach.
Yeah.
But like he's fine. Like I still find him super funny. And I think here is an extreme of him playing the child, like the man child character, you know.
The thing is, with Elf, it's hard to picture anyone else in the role. The only other person I could think of is another typecasted man-child actor, like Adam Sandler.
Like no, but like for this character, Will Ferrell works. I just don't like it. But like he plays the role that like properly. That's how Buddy is written to be.
Yeah. Also, I didn't mention I gave it 4 stars. I forgot to mention that. I gave it 4 stars. 1 star was because of nostalgia reasons.
Yeah.
One whole
I
star for
lowered
nostalgia.
I lowered my score from a 3 to a 2.5.
Whoa. Well, let's smack down the middle.
Like I think there's definitely like things to enjoy. It's not a bad movie. It's definitely not a bad Christmas movie. And like everyone has that nostalgic attachment towards it because quite literally, I think everybody has seen this movie at least once.
I'd say this is child approved. So any parents out there, they need to put on a movie so that they don't have to watch their kids for about an hour. Go ahead and put on Elf for the Christmas season because this
Yeah,
movie is gonna they're gonna laugh their asses off and but get ready because they're gonna quote this movie every day for the rest of your life.
yep. And if you do that, you might relate to the dad character in this movie, played by James Caan.
So let's go to James Kane or James Caan. How do you say that?
It might be Caan. It's two A's, so it might be James Caan.
He is in The Godfather Part 1 and 2.
Really good in The Godfather, might I add.
Yeah,
But
who does he plays Santino. He plays Santino. Yeah, he's weird in this movie. You
they
could
kind of, but he is. So he's the villain in quotation marks. He's the antagonist, I guess.
yeah, he's Buddy's biological father and
And you're supposed to not like him because he's in all business,
he's on the
no
naughty
fun.
list.
Yeah, he's on the nihilist. He's all business, no time for his family, neglectful dad. You know, like he's not a good person. Like let's just throw it out there. He is a bad dad,
Yeah.
both to his original son and his new son. But he's a weird villain because I think to a degree his actions in this movie are kind of understandable.
Yeah, like I could understand the whole thing of if like he's worried about his job and if he gets one thing wrong he's gonna get fired and people in the movie are like especially his son Michael pegging him to be the bad guy because of it. But this guy is just straight up scared for his job, scared about
But he's
losing his
also
job.
like he is neglectful. Like he is like he wasn't around for
Yeah, no,
Michael, and
he wasn't.
his wife mentions it, and like we're not like he is a bad father,
Yeah.
but like especially with like the shit Buddy pulls in this movie, I think his actions are kind of sort of justified. Like he has a decent enough reason to be pissed, not at Buddy anyway.
His performance is very bad as well. Like
Yeah,
he like
yeah, that's what I was gonna say too. I agree.
yeah.
Uh,
He
it's very
he really
stiff performance.
half-assed this role.
Yeah, it's very phoned in. He's very stiff, very kind of like awkward to watch. Which I could
It
say
feels
about
weird.
a lot of performances, but because he's one of the main characters, it's really noticeable with him.
It feels weird because it feels like because he's playing the man baby, Will Ferrell's the only one that has a lot of energy in this movie and like he's the one giving it his all, I guess. And every other actor and actress is just half-assing it, especially Zoe Deschanel.
I was about to mention it. Yeah, like I think the worst offender is Zoe Deschanel. She's like such a talented actress, and in this movie, she just doesn't care.
So my favorite movie of hers is Almost Famous. It's really good. She's also in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, another really good movie. She's fantastic in those movies, and like Zoe Deschanel is just one of those actresses where like if she's in a movie, she's pretty much gonna nail that role.
Yeah, I really like her in it's a show, not a movie, but New Girl was really fun.
Yeah, New Girl was really funny, but
She has like the chops to be a funny character, and I think they tried here to make her kind of funny to bounce off of Buddy. It doesn't really work. Her performance is really stiff. She has like the same tone of voice of the entire movie, including when she's supposed to be singing. Like she's
yeah,
basically
she's
just
supposed to be good
singing.
at singing in this movie.
Yeah,
And
this is
she is
such
actually a
a
good like Zoe Deschanel is actually a decent singer.
it's such a phoned in role, and it's a shame because she's such a talented actress and she just did not care. It was not fun to watch her here.
No, it really wasn't. She was very boring. She was very one tone monotone the entire movie.
I
Barely
also thought
showed
she
any
was gonna.
emotion.
I thought she was gonna be in it more. Like she's really not in much of the movie. She
Yeah,
has this weird side plot, like romantic side plot with Buddy, that is really weird and awkward, and I don't understand how either of them fell for the other.
and they had a baby.
But
They have a baby together in the end.
yeah, like I watched this with Lib yesterday. Like we watched it together,
Yeah,
and at the beginning of the movie, I pointed out like I remembered like wasn't there a like a romantic subplot in this movie? And he's like, yeah, with Zoe Deschanel. I'm like, oh wait, what? And then like, we get there, and it feels so awkward and forced. Like
it's
it's not natural at all. And
I
then
don't.
you get to the ending with the baby. Like how? Like how did we reach this point? Like how and why? Yeah, it didn't need this movie. Did not
How
need a
it
romantic
yeah
subplot.
it didn't need one either. What's Zoe Deschanel's character? What's her name? Jovi.
I thought it
Jovi.
was Nicole, but then I remembered Nicole is the it's
That's
the love interest in Whiplash.
that's
Not
Whiplash.
and it's funny because we were watching Whiplash, and I never called her by her name. I called her Supergirl the entire time.
Well,
And then I remember talking about a completely unrelated movie. I remember her name is Nicole.
so Jovi ends up falling in love with Buddy just at complete random. Like they barely had any screen time together in the first place. It's like it's just a really weird role.
It's a love at first sight thing. I mean, it's really like awkward.
But then you have someone who I think was overacting a bit, which was the mom character, Emily. What's her name? Mary Steenburgen. I felt she overacted a bit. She played a very convincing, supportive mother, which this movie didn't need.
This movie is filled with characters that are like Christmas movie tropes, like the neglected father, the supportive mother, the little shit kid. Like it's full of just generic like Christmas movie tropes, but then it shoves in this fish out of water story, and I feel like they really should have picked one because you could definitely do it in a way that makes sense, but this movie doesn't do that. Like
It's
it feels like I'm watching Home Alone, and then like the Santa Claus, and then Wonder Woman in the same movie, and those movies shouldn't mesh, and they don't.
it's
But here we are.
it's such a weird movie when you like break it down like this. But if you just turn your brain off and just watch it, you'll actually get a lot of enjoyment out of it. I find.
I think in the moment it's a fun movie. Like most Christmas movies from this era, they're like fun. Just put it on and turn your brain off and just enjoy the Christmas spirit.
Yeah, like Ed Asner as Santa, such a good. He did such a good job. Like
Yeah, he's great.
Santa's the best character in this movie.
Yeah, and I really like Bob Newhart as Papa Elf too.
Yeah,
Um, he's
he
not,
was really convincing as well.
yeah, he's the narrator and he's Papa Elf. He's not in this movie much either, but I think he's really fun. But like those are the only two characters I could think of that are like at all of note. Everyone else like gives either super phoned in performances or they're Will Ferrell. And
I thought the kid
I'm
was
both.
okay.
Well, he's a kid actor from like the 2000s, so he's like there's nothing to write home about, you know.
I
I like
guess.
his dynamic with Buddy. Like I like that he finds him weird and creepy at first, like any normal person would. And then they have their like snowball fight, and it's cute, and they bond. And in the end, the kid like, caring about Buddy is what brings the family together. I guess in the end,
Yeah.
But like I don't know, he doesn't really do much for me. He's just like a snot nosed brat that's in all these Christmas movies.
So the plot here is so Buddy's a human. He's not an elf. When he was a baby, he went into like Santa went to an orphanage and Buddy as a baby. His real name's not Buddy either. We never find out what his real name is. They just call him
Well, he
Buddy
was,
because his diapers say Little Buddy.
well, his name he was never given a name, right? Like he was given up as a
Oh, right,
baby.
right. He was
Then
giving up right
yeah,
at birth.
yeah, and then like presumably it's whoever adopted him would have named him, but he never got adopted because Santa kidnapped
Yeah,
him.
Santa fucking kidnapped. He walked into the sack. Santa brought him back to the North Pole, and then he was just raised as an elf. So he's just a human, but with elf powers.
Well, one thing I like is they don't try to like be like hide how stupid this concept is. Like when it's revealed to Buddy that he's human, like within the first like 5-10 minutes of the movie, it's really early, and all the characters like, well, you probably know this already because you're 6'2". Like, that was a joke, I think, in the movie. Like, yeah, of course you're not an elf. You're 6'2".
Yeah, yeah. It was
Um,
the snowman Leon. He was like, "Well, of course you're not an elf. You're 6'2", and you've had a beer since you were 15."
yeah, it's like at least they know it's dumb and like just laugh at it,
What
because it's
what?
not a thing for long. The fact that he was raised by elves isn't a huge factor
Yeah,
to the
but
story anyway. It just justifies his behavior in it, but
yeah,
it doesn't really
he
matter.
still has like he still acts like an elf. Like he's a master tinkerer like all the other elves. He's really good at making things slowly, but he's good at making them. He's amazing at snowball fights. There's this one scene where they play it off like a war scene. It's really funny. And they make this joke where like someone asked Buddy like did you sleep well last night? He's like, "Yeah, I got a full 40 minutes." It's just and also elves live for like 600 years. Papa Elf is apparently over 500 years old, and
Yeah, they make a joke out of it later. So, yeah, my dad's 490 and he's still working.
no, yeah, my dad didn't make Master Tinker until he was 490. I know every line from this movie. Oh my god.
That's good because I don't. I've got not one of them right so far.
And of course, Buddy follows the four main food groups for elves: candy, candy cane, candy corn, and syrup. So this man's probably has diabetes since he was like 5.
And this man not being dead is a shock. Like he never sleeps. He runs entirely on sugar that he eats extreme amounts of. The fact that he's alive at all is amazing.
He's literally built different.
Literally, but the fact that he's not like fat is amazing too.
I don't know. Maybe it's all the singing and dancing that elves do
Yeah,
at
maybe.
Santa's workshop.
Yeah, true, true. They do. They if he only sleeps for a good 40 minutes, that means he's working like 23 hours a day. So
I like that. One of my favorite things about this movie at the beginning, they like establish elf lore that like elves can only be three things. They can work at Santa's workshop, you can make cookies in a hollowed out tree, or you can make shoes for the cobbler while he's sleeping. It's just like
it,
it's
it's
just
it's
funny.
it's it's just fun details because they like the elves don't come up again, but it's cute that they're building up the world.
Jon Favreau, as weird as this movie is, Jon Favreau is an excellent director.
Hey,
And
he knows his stuff. I prefer him behind the camera than in front of it personally.
well,
Did do
he
really well.
always cameos in his movies.
Yeah, yeah, but I love him in Chef if nothing else.
I need to watch Chef.
Maybe I'll recommend you Chef next week. We'll see.
We'll see. Speaking of Jon Favreau cameos, he cameos as the doctor.
Yeah,
At one point, they go to a doctor to do a blood test to see if Buddy is actually Walter's son. Walter's the dad. We didn't say that before. James Caan. We said James Caan. We didn't say the character's name. And yeah, he's the doctor. He's just there. He doesn't have like
yeah,
that many lines.
yeah. He's not in that much. He
Yeah,
has like a cute moment with Walter.
yeah. That's pretty much it.
He explains why but he is the way that he is, kind of. And they move on.
So a weird I'm gonna call it a celebrity casting because they had to pay the big bucks to get Peter Dinklage in this movie. Because how the fuck did they get Peter Dinklage in this movie?
Well, we're talking about Peter Dinklage, and like, I mean, it is still post Lord of the Rings, but it's still 2006 Peter Dinklage. So like,
Yeah,
I can't.
it's post Lord of the Rings, pre Narnia. So
Yeah.
he's
So
not.
I think he definitely would have been an expensive cameo, but like he was at least on the same tier, maybe a bit more famous than Will Ferrell at the time, but like he not too much more famous. I think it would have been too costly, you know.
And they waste his entire screen time on short jokes, pretty much.
Oh, of course, but that's the unfortunate reality of Peter Dinklage and comedies, especially stupid Will Ferrell comedies like this, is they're gonna go for the low hanging fruit and just make short jokes. It sucks, but I'm sure that's like he knew what he was setting up for when he signed on to this project, right? You're in the movie for a 2 minute cameo. It's in a Will Ferrell comedy. We're making
Yeah,
short
we're
jokes.
gonna make short joke. We're gonna call you a South Pole elf.
Yeah, and yeah.
Yeah, and of course, that leads to the eventual. Every movie has this where the two main characters split for like 5 minutes, and then the spirit of Christmas brings them back together.
Actually, an engine falling off Santa's sleigh brings them together.
Yeah, the whole scene where like once Santa lands in New York City, I love the rest of the movie after that. Like
Oh
I
yeah, yeah,
don't know
that
I
whole
don't know
segment
what it
is.
is.
I love that the New York Park Rangers know Santa is real, like
And they
confirmed
straight up
real,
try to kill him.
because every time he flies over New York, they try to kill him.
And the reasoning is because he put them on the naughty list and they never forgave him. That's what they say in the movie.
Like it's just a fun, like little stupid thing.
Like this movie's so
Like
fun. This movie's so fun. I love this movie.
yeah, it has fun moments. Like I just love that idea where it's like we know Santa's real. We're gonna tell nobody, and we're gonna try to kill him.
And another thing is at the same time there's this news reporter that's like, obviously she's not having it. She's like, "Oh, Santa's real, guys. He's in Central Park right now." But what's funny is that there's two news anchors. There's her and then there's the guy on the other end. And they're just like reporting on Santa, and then he cuts in and he's like, normally on news we talk about actual news.
Yeah, like you're like patronizing each other. Like it's
That's the
funny.
word, patronize.
I think this movie needed like jokes like that. Like yeah, like we know this is dumb. Like we know what we're doing. You know.
Yeah, like the people making this movie knew that half of it was dumb. Like they had to, because the comedy is built on the fact that we know this is a stupid movie.
Yeah, they're not subtle about the fact that like they know this is dumb. There's even like these segments when they're in the North Pole where like the sets. Is it a set or is it CG? I don't remember.
What?
The claymation, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer style New York. North Pole. It's a set, right?
I think the North Pole's is a set with a green screen sky.
Yeah, it's definitely a green screen sky, and like definitely the ice that he like sails to New York on is definitely a set, but I don't know if the rest of it is.
What one I think this is true. I'm pretty sure I'm right about this. But all the scenes that were filmed in New York were actually just straight up filmed with random people, like kind of like Borat.
I'd believe that.
I think so. I'm pretty sure it's only the scenes where he's indoors where they hired actors.
Well, yeah, I guess they just took advantage of if this is true, they took advantage of the fact that New York is just a busy city.
Yeah, no
Although
one
I
and no
I
no
don't.
one would notice Will Ferrell dressed up like this walking around.
Yeah, exactly. Unlike Borat 2, where everybody recognizes him in the second one. So like, there's a whole running gag in that second movie where he has to be in disguise because too many people recognize him from Borat.
The Borat's we should do Borat, the both
I
movies.
I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. I don't know what to say about Borat. I honestly like if we ever do live live watches, I'm down to do Borat, but a review style, I don't know what I'd even say.
Very very nice. That's what we would
I,
say.
I watched Borat the other day and I was like dying laughing. And it's like I'd seen it like 3 times already. And that movie is so funny.
We're missing out the rest of the title. Hold on. It's Borat Cultural Learnings of America for Make Benefit Glorious Nation of Kazakhstan.
I like Borat subsequent movie film.
That's probably my favorite title for anything.
Yeah, it's great. Borat
Borat's
2 is
subsequent
honestly,
movie film.
Borat is just like Borat 2 is a lot better than I thought it was gonna be in general. I expected it to be a cash cow. Let's revive this dead IP
Yeah,
and
it
do
was
nothing with it, you know?
it was one of the first Amazon originals that I remember, I think. Because then
Uh,
after that, the Tomorrow War came out.
well, there was like Amazon original shows, but
Oh
I
yeah,
can't think of
I know Jack Ryan. Yeah,
yeah, everyone who uses YouTube knows Jack Ryan because we all got those ads shoved down our face.
and if you ordered packages while Jack Ryan was in production, your Amazon package had Jack Ryan on it. They really the marketing for that show was top notch. It's too bad it ended up being like a solid 2 out of 5.
Yeah, I watched like the first season and half the second season. I thought it was fine. It's nothing special, especially like in that genre. It's really not original at all.
It's just
But I
action.
like yeah, I like John Krasinski a lot, and
You know, hopefully we get to see him as Mr. Fantastic.
yeah, please, okay, he's perfect for Reed Richards. Like either get him as Reed Richards or Glenn Hallerton.
Glenn Hollert, who's that?
Dennis from It's Always Sunny.
Oh, why him?
I think he looks the part for Reed Richards. I don't know. I can see it.
You know what? Now that I think about it, I can also see it.
Like I don't know if he could do a serious character because like Reed is not not a jokey character really, but I could definitely see him physically as Reed Richards.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. You know what? No, I still want Jim Halpert.
Oh yeah, same. Especially now that he's like jacked, it'd be great. But we'll have to see whenever they get the casting done for that.
Yep.
But anyway, that's not Elf. We have more movie to talk about.
Yeah, we have just a bit more movie because
Well, we didn't talk about. I was trying to like get into there, and then I got distracted by other things. But like we were saying, this movie kind of knows what it is
yeah,
to the point that there's even like the North Pole scenes are just parodying Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. That one that's on TV 24/7
the stop motion
every
one.
year since like the 60s. The stop motion one.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they know what they're doing. It's just it's weird. It's a weird movie. The more I talk about it, the more I don't know if I like it. But
I
it's a
like it.
fun
Like I think it's
it's a
good.
fun, cute Christmas movie to watch with the family.
I think it's good. It's just worse if you watch it a lot.
I think
If you keep it to once a year, it's good.
I think it's worse if you're old enough to not have children, but I don't even know where I'm going with this. Just I'm too old to enjoy this. Like I don't have kids, so I don't get that kind of enjoyment with it, and I'm not young enough to find Will Ferrell entertaining, so I'm just sad and angry.
You know, it's probably just it's for me. It's just the nostalgia. If I watched it for the first time this year, I definitely would have hated it. Like,
Oh yeah, it's definitely it's a nostalgic movie for a lot of people,
you
and the nostalgia really brings it up like to like another level. But like most Christmas movies that aren't Die Hard, I think if you watch them for the first time now, they kind of like they age out, and like they're not for you if you're a certain age, and
Christmas
Elf just isn't for me.
Christmas movies, like most of them at least, are just like they're made for kids, pretty much.
Like I think Home Alone is a good family Christmas movie.
Yes, yes.
I don't think like I can't imagine being a parent watching this with my kids and enjoying it. I'll enjoy watching my kids watch it, but I don't know if I would enjoy the movie. Whereas if I put something like Home Alone, there's enjoyment to be had for the whole family there, you know, and I don't think you get that here, at least in my opinion. But I like Jingle All the Way, so what do I know? Honestly, my opinion on Christmas movies is pretty bad.
It's Elf is the sixth highest grossing Christmas movie of all time.
What's the top five?
Number one is the original How the Grinch Stole Christmas. No, I'm
That's not
wrong.
right.
I'm wrong. The original is
I know. Yeah,
number
if we're looking at the same list, the Grinch, the animated one
yeah,
that
yeah,
came out in
the
2018,
Illumination one. Then it's Home
that
Alone.
upsets me. That upsets me.
That also upsets me. Then number three is the Jim Carrey How the Grinch Stole
Live action.
Christmas.
That also upsets me.
Then A Christmas
Not because
Carol.
not because this movie's bad, but because both these movies did above the original upsets me.
Yeah. Then A Christmas Carol, which is also Jim Carrey. Then The Polar Express, which is honestly a fine movie. Then
Where's
Elf.
Die Hard? Where's Die Hard?
Where's Die Hard?
Not here. Not in the top
It's not
32.
here.
I'm upset. Where's Die Hard?
Where's Jingle All the Way? Number 14.
Jingle All the Way made that. I mean, Arnold.
Where's
Everyone has
Arthur
seen Jingle All the
Christmas? There it is. I think Arthur Christmas is probably like I say like Elf is my favorite Christmas movie, but if I'm speaking like what's the best Christmas movie, it's Arthur Christmas. I love Arthur Christmas. It has such a good story. It has such a twist, not villain. You know, someone you think is the villain, but is actually never was the villain, and you were just thinking he was because you're an idiot.
I don't know what my because I joke you say Die Hard's my favorite Christmas movie, but like if I have to think about an actual Christmas movie, I don't know what I would pick.
I thought you would pick Home Alone.
Probably Home Alone, yeah. But like it's a weird movie to say is your favorite Christmas movie, right? It is a Christmas movie,
It is, but it's
but it's not like a Christmas spirit movie, you know.
well, neither really is Arthur Christmas. Arthur Christmas is more of a comedy with a Christmas backdrop.
Yeah, well, like Christmas with the Cranks, right? Same thing with that.
Right,
At
right,
least,
yeah,
like it's about Christmas.
yeah,
Home Alone just happens to take place on Christmas.
yeah. Home Alone could have been at any point in time, but
Yeah, exactly.
you know what makes Home Alone the best Christmas movie though? John Williams did the score. That's how you know, because John Williams got it.
I want to see a remake of Home Alone, but like Macaulay Culkin is back. But like she's just an adult. Like it's the exact same movie, but Macaulay Culkin's an adult.
I think we said this on the podcast
Yeah,
already.
I need this movie to happen. I'm looking at the highest grossing Christmas movie list, and I noticed Devil May Cry 3, aka Santa Claus 3, is on the list.
What?
Okay. I'm gonna send you two pictures on Discord, and you're gonna get your live reaction. Okay.
All right.
But we're really not talking about Elf.
I mean, we're kind of done.
I have a couple more things to say. Well, I have to get this epic baby.
Show me.
Can you in Discord? This picture is too powerful for Discord. Apparently. Hold on.
What?
Okay, so this is the Santa Claus 3, right?
Yeah.
Now just Devil May Cry 3. You can't convince me otherwise.
Well,
Yeah, we didn't talk at all about the ending scene where New York sings Christmas carols to
oh yeah.
oh,
Okay.
we didn't talk
So
about that whole subplot with Santa, like people don't believe in him
yeah, I
anymore.
forgot. Okay, so the thing about Santa's sleigh, and I think in my opinion this is the best like how Santa's sleigh works thing that any movies come up with. And a lot of movies ended up copying this, like Arthur Christmas did end up copying this. And it's that Santa's sleigh runs off of Christmas spirit, and if people stop believing in Santa, then his sleigh won't work anymore. And sometime in the 60s, Papa Elf had to make a jet engine to put to the back of Santa's sleigh so that it could fly without Christmas spirit because people were starting to not believe in Santa Claus. And as the years go by, people stop believing in him. But from what we learned at the very beginning of the movie, that the best way to spread Christmas cheer is singing loud for all to hear. And then Buddy tells this to Zoe Deschanel, and then Zoe Deschanel has to sing in front of a whole crowd of New Yorkers to get Santa's sleigh to work.
And he says sing very loosely because she like speak talks basically or sing talks. That's the word I wanted to say.
You better watch out. You better not cry like that. Like she's
Yeah.
not actually singing. She's just, you know.
Like it's a cute scene, and like they do get Santa sleigh in the air, and then everyone sees Santa, so they believe in him. But it's weird. They don't sing very well.
But they do
Although
establish the because there could have been a plot hole, but they do plug it up very quickly because they like Michael right away was like, okay, well there's people reporting news out there. Let's get the cameras in here. We'll point it at you, say you're the real Santa, and everyone's gonna believe in you. Santa's then your story's gonna work. But their way to plug that hole was if they know Santa's real, that doesn't count as believing. That means they know it's real, but then the Christmas spirit is gone, which is a good explanation.
then like a bunch of people see him anyway, so they know he's real. But like,
Yeah, so now they know he's real. He's also on camera, also, because I'm sure like cell phones were invented in 2003 or flip phones, but they had cameras on them. Someone could have easily recorded it. Photoshop did exist.
yeah,
Actually, I was about to say it didn't, but it did.
basically Christmas is canceled because Santa fucked up.
Kind of fucked up and basically told everybody that he exists.
He brought the toys in time.
Buddy saved Christmas and then had sex with Zoe Deschanel and they got a baby daughter named Susie.
Is that her name? I didn't even notice the baby
Yeah,
was
her
named.
name is Susie, spelled Susie.
In the end, he doesn't like. I guess he works things out with his dad, but like, Buddy just leaves.
Yeah, he just
he
goes back to the North Pole.
goes back to the North Pole with Zoe Deschanel, which is like fine, I guess.
I think
Yeah,
he said like the.
this movie tries to be too many different Christmas movies, and it doesn't really work well.
I mean that's it. Will Ferrell decides that being a man baby is okay, which is
Yeah,
not.
like there's there's no like lesson to be learned, right? Like he doesn't.
He didn't really. I guess the lesson was for Walter to learn, not for Buddy.
I guess. And like Walter learns his lesson.
But
Like
Buddy
that's
Buddy just doesn't have an arc. Like he just
yeah, but like it's set up to like make you think he has an arc.
yeah to make him maybe go full human, either go full human or full elf. And he was all
Yeah, that's like I've seen the movie, so I know the result. But like that's what I was expecting rewatching it yesterday. I was like, oh, so like he has to make a choice, right? But no, it's literally just I have to read it with my dad. Okay, I did that. I'm leaving now.
yeah. I met my
I
dad
no
and I'm
longer
done.
I did what I want. I'm done. Like I'm leaving.
It's
Goodbye.
weird. It's weird. Weird ending, but
Yeah, it tries to be too many different Christmas tropes in one movie, and they don't mesh well. I don't think anyway.
I don't think it meshes well either. But again, if you just turn off your brain and watch this movie, you're not gonna care.
Yeah, that's
It's
true.
a very easy watch.
Yeah,
We
that
somehow
is true. It
managed to
is.
talk about it for like almost an hour. Like
So I mean I have nothing else I want to say. Just repeating things at this point. So I guess we can move on to hot off the presses.
yeah, we can move on. Like 4 stars from me. Before was 3 stars, but now 2.5 from
Awesome.
him.
Yeah. So this week's hot off the presses is a bit of a short one, mainly because the big thing is things we can't talk about yet for reasons we're gonna explain. So let's get those out of the way. So Spider-Man: No Way Home has been out for about a week at the time of recording, and The Matrix Resurrection came out today, I think, at the time of recording.
Oh, wait,
No Way Home,
something else came out today.
the Kingsman,
Oh yeah, the King's Men. The King's Men came out today as well.
Kingsman. Okay, so I'm not gonna talk about the Kingsman because I don't think it's relevant to what I'm about to say.
Yeah.
But I've been excited for both these movies for a long time, specifically No Way Home. I've been talking about it since the podcast started.
Yeah.
Even longer in my personal life. I'm sure everyone is tired of me talking about Spider-Man, but I'm never gonna stop.
Please
Um,
stop talking about the Webbed Crusader.
okay, well, actually, good news for you, Lib, because I'm gonna stop talking about it right now.
Good.
Because spoilers for next episode. But we're not talking about No Way Home now because the next episode is gonna be on No Way Home. So if you want to hear our thoughts on
Yep.
that, we'll be talking about that next week. And we also plan on doing an episode on The Matrix in January, I believe that's when we have that scheduled.
Yeah, if I check the
Yeah.
schedule, yeah.
So those are two coming episodes. One very soon. So we're not going to talk about No Way Home right now. I did see it. Lib has seen what he can, and that's where we're stopping things for now.
Yeah, I watched the first half. Not gonna say why I only watched the first half, because it's a long story. Not that long. It's more of a can't. So
Yeah. So
look,
we're
we
gonna move on.
look. We're a movie podcast. We all have sources, okay?
Yeah. Like we're gonna move on, but come back next week and then in January to hear about The Matrix and No Way Home, and maybe one day we'll talk about The Kingsman. Probably not though.
I'll have to watch all the other ones.
The first one's really good. The second one sucks. Would not recommend. But anyway, moving on. Speaking of Spider-Man, if you saw the movie in theaters, one of the after credit scenes is the trailer for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Which is no longer a spoiler because they released the trailer on
Yeah,
its own
I was
today.
about to say
Yeah.
you can now leave halfway through the credits because that trailer's been officially released by Marvel. What if is canon now, which is neat. Neat is what I would describe it as.
Yeah.
It looks really interesting. Sam Raimi's directing. I'm very excited. That's all I have to say.
If you want to hear our thoughts about What If, you can check out last episode on WandaVision where we briefly talk about it.
Yeah, because we are planning to do the Disney Plus shows, except What If.
Yeah.
So if you want to hear our thoughts on What If, or specifically the Doctor Strange episode, we'll probably bring it up at some point because we're probably going to be covering Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
So yeah, we'll talk about that more whenever that comes out. I'm very excited. Sam Raimi, I hope it's good. Moving on.
All right, so moving on, we have a pretty big delay. So John Wick 4 got delayed by a whole year. It is now coming out spring 2023 as opposed to,
Yeah.
I think...
Yeah, wasn't it? I think it was May 2022 and it was delayed to March 2023.
Yep.
I want to say
It got delayed because of the new variant, which keeps popping up. Gonna keep happening at this point, probably. the movie delays. So expect more movie delays.
This is unfortunately something that Hollywood is gonna have to work with, and hopefully not collapse under. But we'll see.
People are saying like, oh, it's the death of cinema.
I wouldn't say it's the death of cinema, but it's definitely something they need to work with.
Like streaming services are getting the upper hand right now. But did you see what happened with Scarlett Johansson? You don't want that to happen to your company, right? Please release your movie in theaters.
Personally, I just think there's no better viewing experience than in theaters, but that's a personal thing.
Yeah, so we mentioned this like in one of the first couple episodes when we were like Venom, Let There Be Carnage got delayed or something like that. When we were talking about the whole Black Widow thing. But guys, if you really want to watch a movie and you're really excited about the movie, if you can, please watch it in theaters.
Get the proper viewing experience and support the artists. So
yeah, it's mainly to support the artists and the creators because some of them don't like what happened with Scarlett Johansson. The contract didn't include the sales from Disney Plus, which was a big thing.
Yeah, and she made a big enough stink, and she was a big enough name where she was able to win that war. But that doesn't necessarily happen for everybody. So you should support the industry where you can.
Yeah.
But with that, we move on to we probably should have mentioned this first because it has to do with the other Marvel stuff.
Oh, I missed it. Yep.
Yeah, but at the time, I probably should have ordered this better. But yeah, at the time of recording, Hawkeye ended today. We have not watched it. We're watching the finale after recording this, probably.
Yeah, probably.
So yeah, we'll have opinions on Hawkeye next week, maybe.
We are going to dedicate an entire episode to Hawkeye.
Although it's a little, our planned coverage for these Marvel shows has slowed down a little bit, but we will get there eventually.
Yeah, we will get there eventually. So bear with us. Gives you more time to watch the other episodes of the podcast.
We have Michael Keaton was cast as Batman in the upcoming Batgirl movie.
Michael Keaton's going places these days. Good for him.
I'm happy because I love Keaton's Batman. Batman '89 is one of my favorite movies ever made. I love him in the character. I love him in Birdman, one of my favorite movies ever made. I love him as Vulture, and I'm sure I'll love him in The Flash and in Batgirl.
He plays the same character in No Way in Far From Home. I mean, in Homecoming and Birdman. He plays
and in Birdman, he plays himself, a washed up actor from a superhero movie. trying to come back into the industry, which was what happened. So it's funny how that works sometimes.
Funny.
Birdman is fantastic. Maybe I'll recommend it to Lib one day.
Lastly, I don't think Pat's ever seen the Harry Potter films.
I have not.
I have seen them, and the cast of Harry Potter is doing a reunion special. It will be premiering on HBO Max on January 1st to celebrate the 20th anniversary of Harry Potter.
The J.K. Rowling is not invited.
Yet, she was not invited. Which is hilarious.
Good.
I think that's it for Hot Off the Presses.
Yep. We got one more segment.
All right, so we're gonna move on to backlogged.
Yeah, this week's backlogged was interesting because so how we usually do it is I recommend Lib a movie and then he'll recommend me a movie, right? And we never specifically stated this rule, but it was kind of implied that I'm gonna recommend him a movie I've seen.
Yeah, and then
Because I
I
want him to
recommend
watch
him
it.
one that I've seen that he hasn't.
Yeah. That was always the implication, right? Well,
Yeah,
this week we did something a little differently.
yeah,
I recommended Lib a movie I haven't seen. We both haven't seen. And I really wanted him to watch this, and I really wanted an excuse to watch it.
I can't
So,
believe I can't believe we needed an excuse to watch this.
Yeah, because honestly, like I should have watched this a long fucking time ago. Enough dancing around it. We watched Whiplash.
Yep, we finally watched Whiplash, a 2014 movie directed by Damien Chazelle, the same genius who directed La La Land.
If you want a little reminder about how we feel about La La Land, because we did talk about La La Land earlier in the podcast.
Yeah, in episode 2.
I love La La Land.
Me too. One of my favorite movies ever made. This is also up there.
This is also up there for me. I watched it for the first time. It is in my top 5 favorite movies of all time.
Okay, I'm gonna read the synopsis here. Okay, so Whiplash, the road to greatness can take you to the edge. Under the direction of a ruthless instructor, J.K. Simmons, a talented young drummer, Miles Tenor, begins to pursue perfection at any cost, even his humanity.
And I that's a pretty accurate
This
description.
it's a really accurate description.
The short version of this movie is basically just like, let's see how far we can push a perfectionist until they break.
Yeah. J.K. Simmons plays a really convincing, abusive music teacher to Miles Teller, who I've never heard of until this movie, but Pat might have seen him because apparently he's in Fan4stick. Yep, he's Mr. Fantastic in Fan4stick.
Yeah, he's Reed Richards. Yeah.
Yep, that's cool. He's also in Divergent. Never seen Divergent.
Yeah,
but...
he's the main character in Divergent, I believe. I think he's also in Ender's Game, but don't quote me.
He's in Ender. Hold on, I've seen Ender's Game. I fucking love Ender's Game. He's not in Ender's Game.
I think he's in Ender's Game. Don't quote me.
There's no way he's not in Ender's Game. He's not in Ender's Game.
Okay, well, I mixed up white people. I'm sorry.
Harrison Ford. Anyways, yeah, I love Ender's Game.
I like the book. I read the book. I haven't seen the movie.
Oh wow, that's it's like your Dune. It's another sci-fi.
Yep. Except I don't like the book all that much, so I probably won't like it.
The book is very niche.
Yeah.
But back to Whiplash. So this, I don't know I don't know how to talk about it.
I'm not a music person, and I have no personal relationship with anybody who is either a music person or a perfectionist to this degree. But watching this film was a struggle. Like you feel every bit of anxiety and every bit of pain that these characters are going through, and they want you to feel it. They want you to feel like shit, just like the characters in universe feel like shit.
Like, just to tell you how good this movie is, because a lot of ratings on Letterboxd are like, you know, they're pretty even, but this, like, there's still ratings that are less than 2 stars, but because it's cut up in percentages. 0% half stars, 0% 1 stars, 0% 1.5, 1% 2 stars.
Yeah, people love this movie, and there's a lot to love.
Like, I gave it 5 stars. Like,
I also gave it 5 stars,
and I gave it a like as well.
Yeah, it's a fantastic movie. It's one I'm gonna recommend everybody ever to see. But I feel like I watched it under the right, like I watched it with Lib and some other friends for the first time, and I think if I was watching this alone, I would have felt like shit right after, you know.
Yeah, when I watched this, after watching this movie, I like my heart was racing the whole movie, and once it was over, because it ends with this amazing drum solo from Miles Teller. I don't know if it's actually him playing the drums, the actor. I don't know. I'll have to look that up because shit, this
Like
th-
there's
th-
so much emotion in this movie that they make you feel. Like it's such a heavy movie to watch.
it's like I can't explain. There's no way to explain it. Like I know it sucks to hear a movie review podcast say this, but you have to watch it for yourself to understand it. Like,
I can't recommend this enough. Especially if you're someone who is in a similar like circumstance, and because people like this exist, both the student and the teacher are people
yes,
who are real, who you might know. And I think there's something everybody can get from watching this, whether you care about music at all or you could not give less of a shit. I think there's something to enjoy here.
I want to do a full episode on this, but I don't know if I can, just because
I don't know what I like. I guess there's stuff to say, but like
it's
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 hard.
it's
It's
hard
hard
to
to talk
it's
about.
hard to talk about it because there's only like a handful of movies that I've ever seen that have actually left me speechless, where I can't even talk about the movie, where I just have to tell someone you have to watch it. Whiplash is one of them now. Whiplash is definitely one of them. Because there's just certain movies you just can't talk about, you know? That you just have
You
to
need
tell
to
someone to watch it. For me, 1917 is also one of those movies. You can't just talk about it. You have to show it to somebody.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is something I'm gonna recommend over and over again for the rest of time.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Um, I absolutely loved it. I'm happy we finally found that drive to watch this because it's fantastic.
Maybe you'll hear us talk more about it if we do find a way to talk about it, but really you'll have to watch it. It's on Amazon Prime Video. If you want to watch it through a streaming service. Honestly, if you could buy the DVD for this, do it. Like it's
It's a shame that I'll never be able to see this for the first time in theaters
me
ever again.
neither.
Like ever. Not even ever again, just ever.
It'll never be it's never gonna they're never gonna rerun this movie.
But even if they did, I've already seen it.
Yeah. But anyways, with that, I know that was a super short segment, but again, speechless. Like actually speechless. Masterpiece of a film.
Yeah. And
Every
now it's Lib's turn.
yeah, so it's time to take a
Recommend me
stop.
a masterpiece
Time to
or
take a
not.
stop to recommendation station. Now, Pat, this is another podcast. First, I'm gonna give you a choice here. Okay, not a choice
Oh,
between two movies, but because there's also another movie that we both have not seen that's in both of our watch lists that I can recommend, or I have one that I've been meaning to recommend to you for a while that I have already seen. So which one do you want?
a movie that's in. I think let's do the one that's in both our watch lists, just so we have like one, right? I think
Yeah.
that'd be cute.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
So this is another movie that a lot of people say is one of the best movies ever made. I remember Stefano actually watched this. Stefano is the person who runs the Jazzwalkers network. Stefano's seen this movie. I don't remember his opinions on it, but he said it was pretty good. Not he said it wasn't as good as he thought it would be, but it is pretty good. So, Pat, what's your favorite sport?
My favorite
What's
sport.
your favorite sport, Pat?
I like sport ball.
You like sport ball? You ever
What
been? You ever been
movie is it?
to? You ever been to a bowling alley?
I have.
You been to?
Yes.
You like bowling?
I enjoy bowling. Yes.
Well, I have a movie about a few guys who really like bowling, like really like John Goodman, like Jeff Bridges, like Steve Buscemi.
What movie is this? I don't know. It's on
This
my
is
watch list. I have to know what it is.
this is The Big Lebowski.
Oh wait, no, I've seen the Big Lebowski.
You've seen it?
I've seen it. Why is that on my watch list? I've seen the Big
It's in your
Lebowski.
watch list.
Oh fuck, the bit is ruined.
Damn
I've
it.
seen the Big Lebowski.
The
Damn it.
entire for our entire time of making this podcast, we were always scared that something like this would happen.
Yeah, this was gonna happen eventually. No, it's not on my watch list. I haven't set as watched. It's not in my watch list.
I saw it in your watch list like a day ago.
Are you sure?
Yes, I remember flipping through it.
I also owned this movie physically, so I don't know if okay, well.
All right, well then I guess I'm gonna recommend you the other movie.
Yeah, I recommend the other movie. You gotta keep this in because it's funny. But yeah, this was a fear we were having for a long time.
Yeah,
It finally happened.
It finally happened. God damn it.
Gosh, dang it. Okay, anyway, what's the movie?
God, I'll probably watch The Big Lebowski anyways. I still haven't
Watch
seen
it
it.
anyway because it's really good. You know what? If you don't watch it before the next episode recording, I'll recommend it to you.
Okay, no, I'm gonna watch it.
Okay.
Well, now I have
Really
to.
good.
Now I have to because I made the mistake.
Fantastic movie. I love the Big Lebowski.
Yeah, let's make that a
Yeah.
rule. Let's make that a rule. If any of us makes that mistake again, you have to watch the movie.
We have to watch it. You have
Yeah.
to watch it. Yeah. Okay. Sure.
All right. So the other movie. Now I know you haven't seen this, and I've been making fun of you for a long time for not seeing this. So Pat, I always do these
You're really
stupid
off.
bits. So
It'd be really awkward if I'm like, oh, I watched this like today. Hello.
you piece of
forgot the one.
shit. I bet.
Yeah, anyway, go on.
So Pat, what's your favorite Brad Pitt movie?
Oh, I don't have one.
You don't have. It's not Seven.
I guess I might. Yeah, it'll probably be seven. Let me look at Brad Pitt movies while you continue your bit.
Well, don't look up any Brad Pitt movies, and you'll see it. Okay, so
I'm not looking up any Brad Pitt movies, but I just remembered he's in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So
yeah,
maybe,
so
maybe
you know who else is pretty cool? You know who else is pretty cool? George Clooney. He's in Fantastic Mr. Fox. You know George Clooney.
yeah, George Clooney's he's Batman.
Yeah, he's Batman. We got George Clooney, Brad Pitt. You know who else you have? One of my least favorite actors, Matt Damon.
Okay.
But you know that's already three strong casting, right? How about Andy Garcia? How about Julia Roberts? How about Bernie Mac? How about Elliot Gould?
All-star casting.
You ever been to a casino? Casinos are pretty cool, aren't they?
You recommend me Casino because I have bad news for you if you are.
It's not Casino, but it is. It is Ocean's 11.
Oh yes. Okay, I have not seen Ocean's 11. Yeah, you're right.
I think from the start of this podcast, I've been like, "Hey Pat, you seen Ocean's 11?" He's like, "No."
You mentioned this like the other day. Like, you asked me this the other day if I had seen Ocean's 11 yet. I said no. It is in my watch list. It is in my watch list. So yeah, I'm ready.
There you go. You got Ocean's 11. You also have to watch Ocean's 12 and 13. I'm kidding.
We'll see. We will see.
I'm kidding. So, Ocean's 11 is my favorite heist movie. I'm really into heist movies. So it's a story about this all-star fucking cast. Like, this might be the best casting ever for anything. Trying to rob 3 casinos.
I still think it'd be really funny if you recommended me Casino.
I know you've seen Casino.
Not only have I seen it, but it's in my top 50. I think
I know you've.
better than Ocean's 11. I guess we'll find out next week.
I mean, I gave it a 4, but we'll see. I love Ocean's 11, so can't wait for you to watch it, Pat. And I also have to watch The Big Lebowski now.
It's the rules.
Ooh, that was kind of embarrassing.
It had to happen eventually. And you know what? I'm happy it happened with something like The Big Lebowski, and not you recommending me like Cats. And you were forced to watch
I know you've seen Cats.
No, but like something of that tier, you know. So at least it happened with something you haven't seen and is amazing, because The Big Lebowski is amazing and you haven't seen it.
Yeah. But with that being said, that about wraps it up for today's episode. So yeah, thank you guys so much for listening to this episode of the podcast. Make sure to check out all of our other episodes and our socials, which you can find on the link tree at linktr.ee/fresh_off_the_real. No capitals, no spaces. That's why there's underscores. And there you can find a form that you can fill out to recommend us a film or TV show to watch and then review for the podcast. You'll also find our social medias and our Letterboxd account, so you can keep up with with what movies we're watching, and maybe get a spoiler for an episode.
Yep. I don't know if we mentioned this last week or not. Actually, I think we had this discussion after the episode. But we probably won't be doing what we watched episodes anymore. So if you're really curious about what we've been watching in our personal time, well, follow us on Letterboxd.
If anything, the only time we're ever gonna do it again is if we have nothing else to review.
or like year in reviews type shit. But until next year, I think we're set.
Yeah, we're pretty set. We have a nice long list, and that list can get even longer with your recommendations. So come on, guys, don't be afraid to drop them in. And with that being said, next week get ready for some spooter, and we'll see you.
Our warning might be a long one.
It's gonna be definitely reaching towards 2 hours. So we're gonna see you then, and in a theater near you. Good night, everybody.
Good night.